yours. How can you tell? He looked skeptically at the half-empty glass of beer she had substituted for the fuller one. Unless you've started wearing lipstick, this has to be mine. She laughingly showed him the peach-colored imprint on the rim of the glass. In this light, I don't see how you can see anything. He groped in mock blindness, pretending to discover the bareness of her forearm. What's this? Setting his glass down, he took advantage of the fact that Pet was still holding hers. He turned in his chair to get closer to her while his other hand slid across her stomach, stopping on her ribcage just below the swelling curve of a breast. It may be dark, Lon. Pet smiled sweetly, but I know exactly where your hands are, and if your left hand moves one more inch, you're going to get an elbow in the throat. The warning was issued with deliberate casualness, but it was no less sincere because of it. Conscious of the others observing this little byplay, she knew she had to put Lon firmly in his place without making an issue of it. Lon Baxter was one of the few single men in the camera crew. Young and good-looking, he made passes at anything in skirts, certain he was irresistible to women. Admittedly, Pet found him attractive, but she had learned a long time ago that if she wanted the respect of her fellow workers, she had to stay clear of any romantic entanglements with them. Lon she probably would have avoided under any circumstances, since she doubted he had a faithful bone in his body. But there had been a couple of men she wouldn't have minded dating. She had tried mixing her social life with work a couple of times, but the involvement invariably caused friction on the job. So since then, she had made it a rule to date only men who were outside the television industry. With an exaggerated sigh of regret, Lon withdrew his hand and sat back in his chair, reaching for his beer. His retreat was noted by the others with a few taunting chuckles. Shot down again, huh, Lon? Somebody teased. But I'm alive to pursue her another day. He winked. Pat hadn't believed for 1 minute that he had given up. Why don't you put the poor guy out of his misery, Pet, and let him catch you once? Charlie suggested, knowing exactly what her opinion of Lon Baxter was. I know what my competition is going to be in these next couple of weeks, she replied, not taking offense at the ripping. I'm not in the class of Ruby Gale, singer-turned-sex goddess. Lon won't even notice me after he spent a day looking at her through his camera. Ruby Gale, the New Jersey Lily. Andy Turner, the fourth cameraman in the production crew, lifted his glass in an acidly cynical toast to the star of the television special they had come to tape. Pet, Charlie, Andy, and Lon made up the team of 4 cameramen. She loathed the tag camera person. The term seemed unnatural and a needless attempt to differentiate her sex, but she usually had to endure the label. She is fantastic, one of the sound technicians spoke up in the singing star's defense. Do you suppose she'd mind if I asked her for her autograph? My wife and I have every one of her albums. I wouldn't ask her for anything until the special is all done, Andy advised. She can be a royal bitch. You've worked with her before, haven't you? Someone asked. On an awards special a couple years ago, he admitted. All she had was 1 song and an award to present. Maybe 5 minutes of the entire show, but her incessant demands created total chaos. I've seen my share of temperamental performers, but Ruby Gale is the worst. This isn't any picnic we're on. Dane can handle her, a lighting technician insisted. A grimness pulled at the corners of Pet's mouth. Dane Kingston, the big man himself, is going to be here. I understand this production is going to carry his personal stamp as both producer and director. I thought Sid Lawrence was the director. One of the gaffers questioned her statement. He's just the assistant director, Andy retorted. When you're Ruby Gale, you can demand number 1 and get it. Dane is probably going to be on hand to protect his investment, Charlie suggested. After all, this special is costing him a hefty chunk of dough. I'll bet he wants to be sure it stays within the budget.